Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2022 Infiniti QX55. This is a brand new vehicle for Infiniti. It's running their new 2-liter turbocharged variable compression engine. Very cool design, very complicated. Not much out yet on whether it's reliable or not because it's such a new engine. Overall, I really like the looks of this thing. I like the way it drives for the most part. This one is all-wheel drive. Right there on top, DC turbo, variable compression. It has some extra attachments down below on the crank that change the compression ratio. Instead of having the piston rod connect directly to the crank, there's a little cam mechanism in there that it can rotate and change the compression ratio. I don't know how much it helps. I've been getting pretty decent fuel mileage and it has good power, but only once you get up into boost. So at low RPM till about 25 to 3,000 doesn't have a lot of power, and then beyond that it does great. Of course, it has all the driving feature aids, so you can see the systems up there. This is huge because behind that is a bunch of electronic stuff to help with adaptive cruise control and all that. It does have fairly large rims with low profile tires, so we're not going to do a ton of off-roading, but we will try the steep hill climb, and we'll do a little bit of high speed, but there's no wheel travel on this, so I'm a little bit worried about bottoming out. Of course, has surround view cameras. I don't know if that's showing up, but right there is a camera on there for the surround view camera system. It's not as high quality as I would expect for this vehicle, and the reason I say that is this thing is $60,000, and we'll take a look at the Monroney at the end and go through all the pricing, but it's a lot of money for a vehicle this size. Getting in, we have illuminated Infiniti kick plates and a Bose sound system, which is actually pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up so we can get all the features. You can see the head-up display there. Over here, this is the adaptive steering assist. This is to turn the head-up display on and off, parking sensors, and then the rear hatch open and close. It does have fog lights, but same as all the rest of the Infinitis, they are just an extra set of driving lights. So if we go to the parking lights and try and turn them on, they don't turn on. If you go to the headlights and turn them on, you can see now they turn on. So we'll go back to auto there. It does have 2 memory settings, and the window lock button locks out the driver from controlling any of the other windows. On the Mercedes, when you lock the windows for the other passengers, you could still roll down their windows, which is a feature I love with kids, because sometimes you can roll down the window just a little bit, or even my dog. If I want to roll down the window a little bit for the dog and not have to worry about him stepping on the button, I don't have to unlock it and have him roll it down or roll it up with his head in it. So it's nice to have the ability to roll the windows down when they're locked for everyone else. Right here on the side is where your adjustments are, and there is not a ton of adjustment. Your lumbar is just forward and back, and then to tilt the seat, and here that raises the front of the seat, or you can raise the whole seat, lower the whole seat at once, and then forward and back. So there is not a ton of adjustment, but there is a little bit there. It does have 4 drive modes: personal, sport, standard, and eco. And then the transmission, put it in park, you push the button there to shift into drive. You pull the little button right there and pull it all the way back. To do manual, you do the same thing and hold it back, and then for reverse, push it forward. And for neutral, you pull it half back and hold it there, and eventually it will shift into neutral. It does have an electronic parking brake with the auto hold. If you like to just pull up to a stoplight, push harder on the brake, it'll hold it there. You can take your foot off the brake and the car won't roll away on you. USB-C, USB-A, and 12 volt here. No wireless charging that I found on this vehicle. It does have the 2 screens, so you keep the map up permanently. And then you have the second screen there, which basically for me is either audio or climate. And most of your climate stuff's here on the side, so I pretty much leave that on the audio menu. It does have ventilated seats, heated seats, and all of your other climate here, dual zone. And the passenger seat has the same heated and ventilated seats. Your radio controls are down here. So you have physical buttons for everything. It's just nice having the screen to show you. And then it does have various settings you can go through on here as well. I don't know too much about what you can change in here. I didn't find a whole lot of, like for the drive modes, for example, all I found was that on the Eco pedal. There's got to be a different drive mode setting in here. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all that. The seats are comfortable, and I like the red and black. It does have a sunroof there, and the sunglass holder does fit my Tifosi Jets pretty easily. Yeah, just normal stuff. I mean, you got your reading lights. You can turn on all the lights, and the visors do slide out, which on the Mercedes GLA they didn't, which was a little bit odd for a Mercedes. Back here, plenty of room for 4 full-size adults. The windows are automatic on all 4. I have them locked right now so it won't roll down. You still have the reading lights, and the cabin is a little bit closed in. This one, head is close to the ceiling, and if I sit up straight I hit it. It would be nice to have a little bit higher ceiling and maybe have this open. It does have climate control back here. Probably have to turn that on from the front, but it does have it there. 12 volt and a USB right there. Center armrest with cup holders. It's split 60-40, so you can't just fold down the middle if you have long items. It is a 60-40 split, and you can adjust the seat back angle or just fold it all the way down for a flat load floor. And if we go to the rear to open it, they kind of hit the button right there. Right here you have a 12 volt outlet. These handles on either side will fold the seats. It's already folded. A grocery hook. And then that's the cargo carrier, or cargo net, and the front license plate. I'm not sure why they included 2 tow hooks on this one. And then back there is the Bose amp and the subwoofer instead of a spare tire. So there's no spare tire on this thing, which makes me a little nervous with those small sidewalls and large rims, that if you get a puncture, hit a rock or something, and it pinches a tire, get you a puncture, you don't really have any way of fixing that besides calling someone. And if you're out here, they'll come get you, but they don't like to as much. This is the Sensory, which is the high-end version, and everything's standard except for 3 items. So the premium paint, which I still haven't figured out what color that is. I'll just put that up on the screen. I really like this color. It's kind of like a blue, baby blue, but matte. It's a nice color. I like it. And then the welcome lighting with the illuminated kick plates, and that's $925. The paint is $695. And then the cargo package with the cargo mat, the cargo net, and the console net right here. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me flip the lights on. I don't know if that helped at all, but anyway, there's a net there as well. All that for $350 plus destination of $1,000 brings the total to $60,045. So I'm not sure where the extra $10,000 is. At $60,000, I think there are a lot of competitors in the $50,000 range that offer pretty much all these same features. This one does have that 2-liter variable compression turbo engine. That might be a lot of the extra cost there. It does have 268 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty good. And it gets okay gas mileage. 25 combined, 22 city, 28 highway. I'm at 26.8, so really not too bad, but a vehicle of this size, I would expect maybe a little bit more out of it. All right, we'll do a quick 0 to 60 here. Going. 60. So you can see there's definitely a delay there at the first, and then once it gets going, you get to about 2,500 to 3,000 RPM, then it actually starts to move. It's not extremely fast. It has plenty of power. It has enough power and torque to get you through. It's just that you have to wait, and that is a little bit of a pain, but when you're passing on the freeway or highway, whatever, it's no problem. It'll get you going. It's just when you're going from a stop, trying to get up to speed, that it has that issue. Here we are in the S-curves. There is a car in front of us. So this vehicle, it's running on economy tires, and it kind of shows. So you see how easy it is to break traction. It's kind of fun. You touch the brake, you get lift off oversteer or brake oversteer, and the rear end just kind of slides around nicely. But yeah, it's not super grippy, which there's an old saying that it's funner to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. And this thing, you kind of find the limit pretty quick, and the limit is very forgiving. You don't just slide off the road and crash. It's very well maintained. It brings you back in no problem, which makes it very fun to drive if you like to play around like that. At nighttime, there is a little bit of accent lighting around, so that's where the cup holders are. I doubt that's showing up very well, but there you can see the head-up display, and if you turn the steering wheel, maybe I have to be in drive. There we go. So you can see the headlights move as you turn the steering wheel, and then the fog lights right there, you can see them turn on. But if I switch to the parking lights, can't use the fog lights, so only when the headlights are on. Another thing I wanted to show you about the lighting is as you approach, it doesn't have any of like the puddle lights or anything, but you can see the door handle lights up. Then as soon as I reach to unlock it, then it turns on the lighting underneath. And you also get the illuminated Infiniti kick plate. Having recently driven a Q50 that was a few years old with a 7-speed automatic, I believed that this vehicle had an 8-speed automatic that was just updated for this brand new vehicle. But it has a CVT, and that's why it's been driving kind of weird for me. So it is obviously Nissan CVTs that like to pretend to have shift points, and it's just the same as all of those, and so it likes to pretend to shift, but it doesn't have like real gears. It's just the pulley and the cones or whatever you want to call them. It has the chain or the belt between the two cones on the CVT that have spots where it adjusts to make it seem like it is a regular old automatic. And for the most part, that's not a bad thing, but for me, when you have the CVT, why not optimize it and just have it run smooth the whole time instead of having the shift points. The other thing is it has the 2-liter turbo engine in it, and turbo engines and CVTs that have fake shift points don't go as well together for me. So you'll push on the gas, and if it were linear and just added a little bit of RPM, things would go much smoother. But it does that mock gear change and downshifts to a high RPM where all of a sudden you have tons of power. So you go from no power to tons of power, and I think, you know, you're going from out of boost to in boost on the turbo. If the CVT would kind of slowly ramp up the RPM rather than make that shift, then you would be able to have much smoother acceleration. I think this vehicle could be much better to drive in a sporty way than it is. As far as cruising goes, it's really not bad because there's plenty of power. If you need to pass someone and you downshift, give it a little bit of gas to downshift, sometimes that'll catch you off guard. But in general, if you're driving smooth, you don't really notice the issue of having no power and then having way too much power or more than you expected. So it could be tuned a little better. Part of that's the turbo engine, part of that's the CVT. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2022 Infiniti QX55. It's a great little vehicle. I've really enjoyed driving it. It's nice to be in a luxury car, and it does have a ton of features, but at $60,000, I'm not sure it completely shows the price tag. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit thumbs up, ring the bell, subscribe, and be sure to comment down below. If you didn't like it and give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment down below and let me know why. Have a great day.